Mic check, 1 2 1 2. It feels good to be back. My name is Georgette, and I am in Miami this time around for my new podcast. But this time, I am back with a new co-host. We vibed and kicked it when he trained me as a radio personality for a station that we work for down here. So welcome, Snap.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Georgette. I want to say I thank you for taking this chance on me because, again, you know, there's a lot of people who talk about doing things, and I was one of those dudes. I'll talk about doing something, never get it done.
Is like, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, and when you talk about that instant connection, that New York state of mind connection, I saw your energy and I saw your go-getter. I was like, all right. I'm going to just go along for this ride.
Yeah, no, listen. So Snap and I met each other. So I came in, I moved to Miami. I'm a radio personality for a station out here, a big station out here. And they hooked me up, like they paired me with Snap. And next thing I know, I was just like, Snap was jumpy and excited. And I was like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, but I'll roll with it.
I come ready.
And he does. And I'm like, yo, and every day that Snap and I trained together, I was like, oh, I don't want Snap to leave. Like, I know I need to learn how to swim on my own. But I was like, I don't want Snap to leave because the energy was so crazy. And so we definitely vibed out with you being from New York. And we'll definitely get more into that. But it's definitely a New York state of mind in Miami. And that ain't going nowhere, Snap. No. That shit ain't going nowhere. No. Nowhere. So since being in Miami, Snap, I've dabbled in a couple of things. This past weekend, BET Hip Hop Awards happened in Miami Beach. Mm-hmm. I used to work for the Viacom, who owns BET. So it was interesting to actually be on the talent side. So one of our coworkers, he held it down as the official DJ. So shout out to DJ Nasty.
Big time.
But you know, it's so funny. Are you into the Hip Hop Awards at all, Snap?
I used to be.
Okay. But why is it used to be?
Because maybe the thing with beef and hip hop kind of turned me away from watching the award shows. And recently, you know, what was the big thing? Cardi and Nicki. So I was thinking, like, are they both going to perform? Because they both got hot music out right now. And then what's that going to look like? Does Nicki perform early, Cardi late, or something like that? So I don't know. The beef of it all kind of just put me away from the hip hop.
That's interesting. Yeah, you know, I'm used to being on the production side of things. So I'm the one that has to cater to the talent, cater to the crew and all this other stuff when we're hiring crew equipment. So it was actually interesting to be on the talent side because, you know, I was with DJ Nasty as whatever he wanted me to be for his crew.
Right.
And I was just like, even I was just like, you know, that could even be somewhat stressful, right?
Right, because I don't know who got beef with who at this time. And then you could, you know, be right here thinking, oh, these people are cool. And next thing you know, the beef jump off. And I just don't want to be in the middle of nobody's beef.
Right. And I wanted, you know, and I came in from the perspective of, because again, that New York state of mind in Miami, I just wanted to make sure he got the maximum opportunity as talent. I know what talent is entitled to.
Right, absolutely.
Because I've been on that side. And so.
And they'll shortchange your DJ too.
Yeah. Listen, Linda. Listen. And I was like, nah, you're walking this carpet. You're doing all of that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so he got all of that.
Yeah, he's a very humble dude.
Yes,
so he don't want to do stuff like that. And I encourage him to do stuff like that because he deserves it.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Miami legend DJing out here, DJ Nasty 305. So, you know, I love that dude. That dude got
Leo
mad props.
gang, Leo.
Yeah.
Yes. The other thing I got into, I am West Indian, Snap. Family's from Trinidad and Tobago. I've done Trinidad Carnival, which is the original, and I went into Miami Carnival the first time.
I knew where you was going.
Listen, Juve, jump up. And so I went to Juve. Well, let me back up. So I went to Miami Carnival for the first time. Shout out to my sister that put me onto it. May she rest in peace. And so I was like, I gotta go to Miami Carnival. There's no way that I'm out here and I'm not going and enjoying this stuff. I went to Juve by myself. Juve is like back now, like an early party that happens early in the morning. And theirs wasn't as early as Trinidad. Trinidad's Juve starts at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and this started like 7.
You know,
8 o'clock.
Miami,
yeah,
they
7.
Start late.
So it was like 7. I got there before 8. I you know what? People were laughing at me. I literally went there and didn't think, like, not expecting to get dirty. I really did. Like, I had my hat on. I did, like, Snap, I came out there, and then they got water hoses, like, with watercolor paint in it. There's people with, like smeared in cocoa, like chocolate. I said, no way, and I left paint on my feet.
Yeah. Oh, no, those are great parties. Those are great turnout.
It was so funny. And so my guy friend, so he called to just wish me good morning, and so the next thing he knows, he hears this calypso music, and I'm like, hello. And he was like, where are you? I was like, I'm at Juve. And so I end up texting him. He's like, damn, I just called and said good morning. And I was cracking up. And I was like, he didn't expect me to go. I was like, nah, I wasn't missing that. So shout out to Yvette, PR. She definitely hooked me up with media credentials. And to Tracy actually connected me with her. So I gotta shout out my fam.
Yeah, you gotta love the people who get your credentials. Yeah.
Listen, you gotta go after what you want. And I'm not taking any prisoners since I moved down here. I'm not playing those games now.
That's awesome.
Not at all.
I love the energy. I love it.
Not at all. So let's get into this whole New York state of mind and Miami. So I moved very quickly, mind, body, and soul, right? So when I came down here, mind you, I just want to be very clear. Like, I'm not from New York. I lived in New York for 7.5 years, but I was damn near a New Yorker. You couldn't tell me. Like, you could never tell me I wasn't leaving. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't leaving New York.
Right.
And so when I came down here, I was like, oh, it's the South. And everyone was like, it's Miami. I was like, but Miami is south of D.C. It's south of New York, so it's the South. It's Florida. Right. And so coming down here, I think everyone had this concept of, oh, it's just it's a major city. But man, like it was really hard, Snap. And I'm not trying to turn it off, but I still haven't gotten to the place where I can turn New York off. Like, I'll bust people down, like pedestrians down in the sidewalk by walking really fast. And I have to be careful because I'll walk so fast that sometimes they think I'm following them. I'm just like, no, I want you to get out the fucking way.
Right.
Because I'm trying to get to my car.
Right. Oh no.
And so, I mean, my business moves fast. I didn't come down here to play, Snap, and I feel like I have a lot on the line. In a good way. And so I can't move slow. I don't wait for permission. Like, I'm going after the things I want. But what was your adjustment like? Because that's how we connected. Like, I knew you weren't from Florida.
Yeah.
And when you told me you spent some time in New York, I was like,
Yeah, no, born and raised in New York. I was in New York till about the age of 27 and then came down to South Florida to do radio. But it was a drastic change because even today, like when people see me inside the building of work, they like, man, this dude is either dancing around or running around or doing something, and I'm always just high stepping. I don't know, but when it really hit me about the pace between New York and Miami, in my first relationship here in Miami, and me and Shorty was walking. It was no good because it was like I was like practically pulling her, but I had a pace that So, that's how I knew that I walked really fast or she walked really slow.
Right.
Right. But then that just translated into everything. It was traffic. It was the way I would move in and out of traffic up north. You can't really do that down here. It's like it's fun. But you know what I love about here? I don't know, fast paced. Think of some New York, you can't make the right or the light, but down here you can. Yeah. So I kind of think that helps me out get to where I'm going a little quicker.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, if anything, I think everybody moves kind of slow in Florida, but they're not in a rush to go anywhere, right?
Right.
Like, they don't have to be.
Well, that's what I learned 15 years later. I am never in a rush to go nowhere down here now. I was late here. I'm sorry.
No, and listen, so the one thing you'll learn about me, Snap, even though you were late, like you were right on time, I'm just anal. Like, I'm going to show up. Anyone that knows me, and anyone can tell you, my people from New York, if you tell Georgette a time, she's going to be there 15 minutes early.
And I need to get that right.
But the issue is Florida, Miami doesn't operate like that.
And that's what happened to me overnight. It was like, I could remember, like I used to get in them arguments with my girl. Yo, what time we leaving? All right. It'd be 5 minutes. And I'm like, all right, it's almost that time. A half hour later, we still not out the door yet. And again, now I find myself rushing to where I'm going as to just me riding out on time and just getting to where I need to be.
Yeah, but why is that? No, like, you can't. So you tell people there's a party starting at 8 o'clock, and you mean to tell me you're not showing up until 9:30, 10 o'clock?
It's life down here in the South, and I don't know where it originated from. Maybe history has it. I heard a story back in the days, like black artists would come down here to South Florida and entertain audiences, but they weren't allowed to really stay out on the beach. So they would come from their performances on the beach and then kind of dwell in that Overtown area. So it became a thing to where you knew that the artist wasn't going to get to that Overtown lyrical theater area until about 1 a.m. So you'll throw a party that starts at 10, but nobody's going to come out their house till after midnight. So they're not getting to your party till about 1:30. And that makes sense down here.
Right.
And then another thing down here is strip clubs are big.
Right.
So what time you go to the strip club?
I couldn't get into strip clubs like that.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
So everything is just on some chillax down here.
Right. No, I remember. Yeah, that bothers me. But I have no control over it. So what I started doing, so different things, right? So when I go out, so this is my thought process because I do the morning show and I'm up early in the morning. I go to bed 8:30 p.m., but I wake up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And all y'all hoes are asleep. So y'all ain't fucking with that time, that schedule. But my issue was, this was my theory. I was like, if I go to a party early, Snap, I can leave early. But when I go to a party early and there's nobody in there, I'm still gonna leave early. But when I'm getting ready to leave, everyone's like, where are you going? I'm like, what you mean, where am I going? I got here 2.5 hours ago. Like, this party started 2.5 hours ago.
Right.
So I that's something I don't think I could ever get used to, man. It's hard. It's definitely hard. Okay, so Uproar Challenge. G-Dep Special Delivery, Lil Wayne, Carter 5. And the reason why I bring that up is because I remember you were doing the Uproar Challenge. For those that may not know what the Uproar Challenge is, Lil Wayne dropped Carter 5.
Absolutely.
After, I think, 6-7 years.
Fire.
And you've listened to it, right?
Fire.
And Uproar has to be one of the biggest tracks on there. But I'm not even going to say old school, but because I'm always going to be like New York this, New York that, the beat was sampled.
Right.
Basically, it was G-Dep's special delivery beat.
Absolutely.
And everyone used to Harlem Shake to that. But all of a sudden, everyone's going crazy like, special, like, uproar. And I'm just like, y'all know this is not hating on Lil Wayne. Like, I love it.
No.
Like, I think it was like even a nod to G-Dep, I feel like.
Right.
But I was like, this is New York. So what are your thoughts about him using that beat?
I like when artists use other artists' stuff. It's kind of like a mixtape. Like, when I used to think of mixtapes back in the days, it would be like you blend something together, or you blend a hip-hop beat and an acapella from an R&B or something like that. Nowadays, mixtapes be one artist and you just gonna play a couple of his songs, and that's considered a mixtape. But when an artist can take another, and again, I love that G-Dep song when it first came out. So it kind of, when I heard that Lil Wayne Uproar and I heard Swiss on the intro, and I was like, wait a minute, this gonna be one of them songs right here. And it's just something that you could be riding out, and then if you could be in the worst mood, but your energy change, your mood change. And I think it's just, again, because it's relatable that even if you didn't know how to Harlem Shake, you shaking something or you doing something now. With all these dances today, you know, it flows. So
no, but you did your own rendition.
Yeah,
Uproar Challenge.
I did how old people mock their kids doing dances. Yeah.
I was looking at the comments and I was just cracking up. I was like, this is such a Snap Uproar Challenge video. I couldn't even.
Yeah, mine looks like how your dad would look doing the Uproar Challenge. Kind of. Yeah, it's mad stiff.
But you just had this like straight face, and then you were in and out of the. I was like, "What? Snap? Bring them linky arms back. What are you doing? What you doing?" I thought that.
I didn't know how to use my face, like the facial expressions. I didn't know whether to concentrate on my facial, because I didn't realize your face moves when you do different body moves that you're not accustomed to doing. You know, I saw veins popping out my neck. So it didn't look good. so if you watch that video of my
where can they find this, Snap?
On the Instagram at Rob_OSnap on IG.
Yes,
it's definitely there, but you probably don't want to watch it.
No, I think you should go to his Instagram stats. You got to go to his Instagram ASAP. I love that. I mean, Snap. So tell me what else is going on that I need to know. Kind of acclimating to Miami from New York. Let me know. Being here for 20 years now?
Yeah.
Are you approaching 20? Not to try to age you.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
But there's a lot to do in Miami. But then. But then there's not.
Right, right.
So, there's a huge poetry scene down here.
Is there?
Yeah.
Where?
Shout out to my girl Ingrid B. You could search Ingrid B on Instagram. And she does like this. She does like an erotic poetry night. She's heavy into the
But where
Caribbean.
is this? I used to write poetry before I started writing rhymes, and then I stopped doing all of that.
You know, I feel so bad that I don't know.
We'll offline about it, but that's what's up. I definitely would love to, because I'm looking for more things to do, because I told myself for however long I'm going to be in Miami, let me maximize my time out here.
There's the Wynwood Art District.
I have to go back to the walls. Yeah, Wynwood Walls. Yep. Okay, what else?
The beach. It's always something to do at the beach.
The overpriced beach?
The regular clubs, strip clubs. You know what? You could even get your party on down here sometimes at the VFW with the old folks. Well, I don't want to say old folks, but you know, there'd be the older crowd. You want the mature crowd, you could rock out at the VFW. And it's big.
That's in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I didn't know how big the VFW was to like an audience. They have an audience. They really do.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, I guess.
VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. And they do like, you know, entertainment. The good thing I like about VFW is let's say you want a budget, but you want something to do. You want to go out. You don't want to be by yourself. You want to be surrounded by a few people. You can hit up the VFW. Entrance fee be like $2, $3, and drinks be like $3, you know? So for $20, you can get good at like the VFW.
Right.
But there are many places out here that you can vibe with.
Okay.
I just don't know many of them.
Yeah, I mean, internally, I feel like going to have a bias towards up north because I grew up in D.C., but there's nothing, you know, what I'm grateful for and I can respect. You know, we're always quick to buzz people down. There's less, I don't want to generalize it, but I've seen more chivalry and hospitality here in the South.
Oh, definitely.
That I wasn't used to. Like, you might get a door slammed in your face in New York, walking through subway stations and all that other stuff. Here, it's like men are making sure you, as the woman, walk through the door first. And these are little things, Snap, but you don't realize how much they matter, right?
So, I've never been K. Michelle'd down here.
What does that mean? Explain.
Okay. Like, you know, back in the days, I would deliver like flyers and stuff like that when I was a young kid or whatever, right? And there would be times where people would leave their dogs in the front yard so you couldn't ball up them flyers and stick them on the front gate. And then there would be times where I could make it to the door, but when I got to the door, you know, they curse you out, you know, like get off my porch. Like I was a Jehovah's Witness or something. Like I was there to harass you. I wasn't there to do none of that. I'm just trying to say, here's a circular, the weekly grocery store. You can get some discounts. But yeah, there was a couple times up north that I got cursed out. But down here, for some reason or another, like they'll kind of, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, for real? Like, yeah.
Well, I had to turn, because you know, in New York, you ignore people because you're getting catcalled. I was getting catcalled, followed, because I didn't want to talk to a stranger. And so here I have to remember, like, you can walk past anybody and they're going to say, hello, good morning, how are you? But, and keep it moving.
Keep it moving, right.
Right, like they're not, you know, I still got my guard up. I ain't turning that down. But, you know, that's something that I definitely have definitely adjusted to. So
I'm gonna look into that. What is there to do here? Because again, it's big. You can do stuff in West Palm. You can do stuff in Miami. You can do stuff in Broward. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on where you're trying to vibe at.
I know. We'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah.
So I want to get into this segment I call All of the Things. So this name came from my friend and I. I've talked to her every day since I moved down here. She moved to Dallas from Austin to adjust to it. She adjusted to a new city a month prior, and so I was adjusting to a new city. And we'll always talk about various things, Snap, just how you and I were vibing in the studio. Like the reason why I felt like we clicked, because I just kind of understood you very quickly, and I was just like, oh man, I know where Snap's mind's at. But you were also giving me insight about dumb shit, whether it was related to relationships. And so every time she and I would get on the phone, we're always talking about different things going on with us. And sometimes it's so much, like you can't name it. So we would just call it All of the Things. So in this segment, All of the Things, I want to talk about ghosting. For anyone that watched Insecure, that episode Ghost Like, ooh, it did something to me, Snap. And I actually told you my ghosting story when I moved down here. And I was like, Snap, why the fuck do people do that? So I'm gonna say a little bit without saying too much. So when I was in New York, minding my damn business as usual. And I've been ghosted several times, but this one burned until I got over it. This one burned, Snap. It did, because it was too recent, and I felt like you came at me, right? Not you, Snap, but the person.
Right.
So there was this guy I met in New York. I was kicking it in my environment where I met him. Cool. Mind you, I'm not paying anybody any mind. I'm like, nah, I got to focus. This is what I got to do. Boom, bam, bong. And he, he's like, oh, okay. So I guess he spotted me because I was making sure I was coming dressed to the nine every time I was doing whatever I needed to do for work. And so we connected, cool. Okay, we hung out, cool. I was like, oh, okay. I like his vibe. He's cute. This is cool, whatever. So we hang out, and then we messed around a couple of times. And then the delayed responses started happening. And I'm literally going off like, I know this Negro did not just waste my goddamn time when he knew. I didn't want, like, I wasn't trying to deal with anybody. Like, right. Why do shit like that? Like, I was minding my business, right? That burned me, Snap. I especially like when I was chilling and I didn't ask for that, right? Like, I could have done without that. And so, a lot of times, at least with some of us women, I know for me, I like closure. And most of the time, guys are not going to give women the closure because they don't want to deal or face what they did. They don't want to feel bad. They don't want to think about it. So, Snap, talk to me from a male perspective. And then I'm sure you did that shit too.
Yeah.
And what's your reason? What were your reasons?
Okay, so off top, I'll give my ghosting story. One time, I was on some cheating stuff. And I was on some cheating stuff, right?
Creeping.
I was. And you know what? An opportunity presented itself to me.
So that's what you're going to call it?
And I must just say an opportunity presented itself to me, all right? So I took advantage of the opportunity. It was like, I would, and everything fit into place on this cheating scandal. It was just right. Everything fell into place. It was like, for real? Not that we got into an argument or anything, but she wasn't even in town. And it was like, for real? And so, again, it was a while ago. You mature as a man. So I end up seeing this shorty. Bam, bam, bam. The next morning. And she actually spent the night, right?
At your place.
At the place, right. And mind you, me and my girl wasn't living with each other. Okay. But again, she out of town doing a blah, blah, blah. I don't want to add there was alcohol involved, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse, right? So I go to drop homegirl off the next morning. And when I tell you she lived less than 400 yards from where my girl stayed.
That's what your ass gets.
I was like,
oh, shit. So what happened?
So panic mode kicked in, right? Like literally, I had to say, I need you to get out. I didn't even drop her at her front door. I was like, I need you to get out right here. So I think immediately she knew something. I don't know, whatever's what. But anyway, so she got out. And I think she just knew what time it was. And it was just like, I didn't even keep going straight. I backed out. So when I backed out, did the U-turn and went back the other way that I was coming from. So I know but I didn't know she lived that close. So I couldn't reach out again. There was no way. Now, this was just an opportunity that I took advantage of. I didn't want to be in.
It was a temporary joint.
Yeah, so, but we do that. And it's not like, and see, I understand that there's an emotional tie when, you in a relationship with a woman. Even if you say to a woman, you know what, I ain't really ready to be in a relationship. Once y'all start sleeping with each other, there's a line crossed.
No, I agree.
So even though you can say, yo, listen, I just want to be friends. Eventually, there's some feeling kicking in there. And I think that's where we get confused because we go back to, well, in the beginning, remember I told you I didn't really want to be in a relationship. And now here we are 4 months later and you telling me you love me, or I'm trying to separate feelings, but you're involved a little bit. And sometimes, again, we do too much because we know you in your place.
You as men.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We knew you in your place. And you like, yo, I'm chilling, blah, blah, blah. And you'll tell us this. And we be like, nah, girl, we ain't going to let that happen. We ain't going to let that happen. And next thing you know, we doing that bullshit.
But this is what I'm saying. So when you're, and I'm not this girl because I feel like energy begets energy. But when you get your tire slashed, when you get your car windows busted out, you all are just like, this bitch was crazy. Was she though? Or did you enter a space knowing that you had terrible intentions to begin with?
Well,
y'all have bad intentions to begin with. Like, what the fuck?
You should know if the woman you with or the girl you with has that kind of crazy, and with her. And some people don't know until they cross the point. Right. And sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's whatever. But I was with one of those. And again, I was ratchet. I was just
ratchet. In what way?
Okay.
You slept with any and everybody?
Nah, I don't want to say that. But, you know, I have friends. You know, I've been in a lot of relationships. And
relationships is subjective. How does Snap define relationship?
I chill. We cool, right? I'm chilling with you. We chilling.
Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits. But it would be like an understanding because it wouldn't start off like that. I'm like, yo, I just want to be cool. We hang out like that, you know. So like again, if that opportunity presented itself back then, I would kind of take advantage of it. But it was like, you know, we just friends, kind of, sort of, you know. So, but relationships, I've been in like maybe 10 serious relationships where it was like a year plus, like, you know, that I was with this person or whatever. So, okay. So the woman, one time I had a roommate, scandalous. I'm dating this one girl and she helping me out in every way possible because I wasn't even right in the pockets. You know, like I'm roommating with this dude. I'm asking her for money to help me out. And she looking out.
She's holding you down.
But yet, I'm over here texting the next girl, come through. So the next girl is like, I want to come through, but can you pick me up? I'm like, all right. So I leave my complex, go pick her up. When I get back to my complex, guess who's in her car in my complex? The girl that was helping me out. And this is how trifling I was. I was like, yo, this is my friend, but I'm going to go chill with her upstairs, blah, blah, blah. But you can't come up.
Oh,
you know.
Snap.
Yeah. So when I came out, there was like lipstick all over, cheetah, blah, 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 blah. And you know what?
Were you surprised?
No, but again, we wasn't sleeping with each other
but
yet.
The
it was
fact
just
that she felt like she was investing that much and you were taking money from her. Come on, like in our minds,
and
we're supporting you.
Right. And I was doing too much. And that's why I say I was just ratchet. But
doing too much.
So a lot of times when that come back at you, when that karma come back at you, you really throw it out there. So I didn't understand that when I was younger, and unfortunately, a lot of men don't understand that till they damn near past 30, you know. But
I think there's also a level of selfishness
oh, absolutely. And
I'm not saying like women can't be selfish too. So let me just say this. I know I'm learning, and it took me some time to learn this. Like I learned like I can't do flings, right? And flings are someone you're cool with, and you could have emotionless sex. So this is guy, I used to use the word rendezvous, like if I liked you and I didn't want to use your name and I want people to know who you are, I'd call you rendezvous. So I had this guy I used to call rendezvous a few years ago. We kicked it, cool. We lived in different cities, like, oh, this is fine, I could do this, whatever. Until he got a motherfucking girlfriend, right? Or a girl that he just started seeing. But because him being who he was, or I don't want to generalize men, but he knew I was coming back out there, and he waited a week, but he knew he was talking to this girl for some time. He waited a week until I was about to fly out there to tell me. And he's like, yo, when are you coming out here again, Negro? You know when the fuck I'm coming back out there. And so I felt some sort of way, and so I ended up meeting her, and I knew who she was because she asserted herself in a certain way.
Yeah.
So
they'll do that. Y'all do that. Oh, yeah. Y'all do
honey.
that.
She asserted herself. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So the next time I came back out there, we kicked it, and I told him what was up, and we messed around one last time. After that, I deleted his number. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. And so the gag, so I want to talk about that though. So I deleted his number, and so years later, like a couple of years later, we hadn't spoken since. Like, he ended up getting married, whatever, moving on. But I got a text, and I was like, who the fuck is this? Because I'm Snap, I am petty. Petty LaBelle, Petty Wop, call me
There
whatever. I will block a number, I will delete a number. I don't tell you, I don't announce it. So but I don't delete the thread. So when he texts me telling me congratulations, I was like, who the fuck is this? When I looked, I said it took me a minute. I was like, oh my gosh, like I know who this is. Do you delete numbers as well, Snap?
Okay,
And then how do you handle it when people out the blue that you deleted text you? Because I know I'm like, why are they texting me now?
I get that, right? This is the problem, you know, and I'm in a relationship right now. But usually when those texts come in, it's of a ex or somebody that I could have been with, and we was like, so back in the days, I would be like, yo, we just friends. I'm going to leave it in, you know, because again, ratchet. I was, you know, I never know when I might need to pull this number back up, you know, kind of, sort of. Right. Never, but.
I can't.
But as I grew older, and again, like I heard Neo do an interview one time with like Ricky Smiley, and he was like, he had to hurt all these people, all these females to get to where he's at now in life to love this one woman, right? And so again, just ratchet. But you say that, and I recently got a call from an ex. It was like a, hey, did you ever get married? How's life treating you?
Interesting.
And I want to say life is good. No, I haven't got married, but I'm happy in life. How are you, kind of, sort of. But then it, blah, blah, blah. And now let's say her man did her straight wrong. And I sat there on the phone with her for an hour and a half, just kicking it about blah, 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 life situation. Yeah. It feels wrong to me, I think. But
with you being in a relationship and you still talking to this
right.
guy. Yeah,
but it shouldn't feel wrong because I love this girl and this is my shorty, but I should be an ear for a friend.
But is it a girl that you used to mess with?
Yeah.
That's the only reason why it's touchy. So if I was your girl,
right.
you came home to me, you're friends with a girl that you used to smash.
Right.
That's problematic.
And so this is why...
To me, at least.
Okay, so this is why I don't have female friends. And it's not bothersome, but... Like, I don't get text messages.
You don't have, but you don't have platonic women friends?
Well, that's just it. It's a fine line. It's like...
Were you out here slashing people like that?
Nah. No. No. But I've been in a few relationships.
Okay, that's what you got. Okay, is that?
So
I've been in a few relationships.
And so, in my journey with this woman, right, I can't say that I was always like this, so there may have been some mistrust. And again, we've been with each other for a few years now. So, there's been some moments where, right. I kind of broke her heart and things like that. But
stepping
I
out and messing with
no,
okay.
not with even other women. But it's just like, I've made some decisions and one or two of them backfired on me, and I'll tell you about like when we get into like some other topics on like relationships. Should you confide in your significant other before making a substantial change in life?
Oh yeah, we'll make
like
that the next episode.
Yeah, and so I just went ahead and said, I think I need to do what's best for my end, not considering how she would feel.
Right.
And I think it totally put something on our relationship. It kind of like
really
set us
But y'all
back.
are not married, so do you still think that's...
But I think we don't have to be married for me to like love her like that. I think marriage is a piece of paper saying that y'all blah, blah, blah. And then hospital situations, your wife could come in and make decisions for you and things like that. But I don't know. I'm like in a common law marriage or something like that because we've been with each other for so long. It's like, you know me, I know you, and
I know people like that.
I'm here, and I know it would be good to have a big wedding and blah blah blah.
But it's, knowing people that went through divorce, it could be.
And first of all, I don't want to spend all that money. We can do a makeup session. I'll buy a tux or rent a tux, and you could rent a beautiful white dress, and we could do pictures somewhere if you want. You could kind of go to Macy's, get your makeup done or whatever.
But I know we're going off, but this is actually begs a great question, and then we can wrap it up after this. But what difference would it make if you were contractually married and what you all have now? Because shout out to my homie Darnell, when I used to do my web series Dear Georgette, the one thing he said is a lot of reasons why there's issues in marriage. People think like once you get married, things are supposed to change the day after, as if you all weren't doing the same thing prior to you all getting married. Like things are still the same.
No, everything remains the same.
It does, but people want to magically think something's supposed to change when they get married. So then all these expectations start to come. So is that something that you would ever want, or you're fine where y'all are at, and then is she okay with it?
I think I always wanted to be married. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like I'm comfortable where I'm at. And maybe that's what it is. I'm comfortable. I love you. You love me. There are no outsiders. If at any point there's an issue in our relationship, it shouldn't be about infidelity, because that's not where I'm at, in life. Now, if we talking finances or something like that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, nothing changes for me. It's like, I think people use marriage as an excuse, like when things change. No, but it's a comfort. It's a comfort level. It's like you're married till you get comfortable. It's like before you used to get in the gym. Now you going to work and you just going to come home and take care of the kids. You ain't going to walk no more. You ain't. And then it becomes a wait, but that's not who I'm married. You ain't the same person that I'm married, But if you've been with this person for 10 years, like why aren't they the same person that you married? You were with them for 10 years. What changed the day after the 10th year and you all getting married versus you all not getting married at all? And that's where I think it ends up being, problematic. I have my, we could talk about this later. I have my qualms about marriage and my thoughts about it. So we'll get into that in the next episode for sure. Snap, first episode down. Oh, yeah. Powered by Excitement Radio.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, Steph and I just go at it. Definitely appreciate them allowing us to use their space. So Snap, how can they find you online?
I'm just going with the IG, ROB_OSNAP on Instagram.
Word. So you can find me on Twitter, IG, at Georgette, Starr with 2 R's. And then the podcast is going to be on Apple Podcasts. We're going to blast out links. You're going to definitely know where to find us. So Snap, I appreciate you. And yeah, we out here.
Yeah.
Peace.